Number one mistake I'm seeing right now with home buyers in the marketplace is they're waiting for foreclosures to come in the marketplace. Instead of just waiting for foreclosures coming in the marketplace, if you're actively looking to buy and get a good investment, I would do this instead. Hey everybody, it's Mark Coons here with Selling Kelowna Real Estate Group here, and you're watching the Living in Kelowna channel where we're going over information on the real estate market, putting a new video out every Thursday of the week. So if you like that, please let me know in the comments what you'd like to see for future videos. But in this video, without further ado, we're just going to get into a common misconception I'm seeing right now in the marketplace. And a lot of people are asking me for information, and they're inquiring about foreclosure properties, and they're very interested in foreclosure properties. And don't get me wrong, I get it. I totally get it. But one thing we're seeing is there is one of those issues with following that. There is a major flaw that is coming with that is everybody's also looking for foreclosure. So your competition factor is higher. What we saw in June of 2024 is a sale price for foreclosures. A sale price compared to list price was 103%. What that means is on the court date, there's oftentimes a lot of competition, and properties in the foreclosure market are oftentimes getting bid up about 3%. And it's not the case every month, but that is an increasing trend what we're seeing. So we're seeing 5 or 6 sales a month right now for foreclosure properties in the central Okanagan, but they're going for about 103% of ask price. I would do this instead is I would focus on narrowing down properties that are below a certain price range. So let's go with the lower end price range. So single family homes below say $800,000. And you're going to focus in on areas within the central Okanagan or Kelowna that have high growth. So we're looking in West Kelowna, maybe in the West Bank Center. And if we're looking in Kelowna, then we're probably going to be looking somewhere in the Rutland Center, somewhere in there where we're going to see potential. And for you to get a good value below 800,000, you're maybe not going to get the best property. Obviously, you're not going to get the best property for below 800,000, but it might also come with a little bit of future land value. So you're getting at a lower price now. It's not a foreclosure, but it almost has the effect of a foreclosure. And one thing that it is, you don't have to worry about going to court dates. If you're the first one in on it, the benefit of this is you get to secure and you get to be in the driver's seat to dictate where that property goes. Once you remove subject conditions, if you're buying a foreclosure, then it goes to court date. And then you have to compete with all these other people that maybe may or may not want to buy. So then it doesn't actually allow you to do your full due diligence. Or if you do your full due diligence, you just wasted a bunch of time if a bunch of competitors come into the marketplace. So the one thing I would do is control your own destiny and focus on areas of growth in a certain price range. I like Rutland, I like West Bank Center, and we do have properties in both of those centers there. So if you do want more information on them, we can get them sent to you directly. Just comment below or reach out, and there is a link there. One of the benefits of going away from the foreclosure and focusing on this strategy instead is I believe you might pay a little bit more in sticker price, but at the end of the day, once you factor in property improvements, once you factor in everything else that is factored into the purchase price and the time you've invested into it, you're going to come out ahead if you do go about this way, and you're more in the driver's seat and less worried about what your competition may or may not do for you. So you might pay a little bit more in sticker price, but for foreclosure properties, you're oftentimes going to probably have to put in a little bit more money. They're oftentimes run down. There's some properties that are for sale right now where the listing photo, the garage door is noticeably tilted, and it's probably about out 4 feet off the bottom of the left and 4 feet at the bottom on the top right there. So there is definitely, things you're going to have to consider when you're buying a foreclosure property. And because it also takes about 18 months to be able to get that property vacant and for the banks to actually take ownership of it, there's so much issues that could arise with a property. So if you're not factoring in that aspect to it, it oftentimes I find a little bit, what you're getting a little bit more if you do go this other route where maybe you're paying 30 grand more, 40 grand more than what a foreclosure property would be listed for. But oftentimes it's at least livable. At least the water is on. At least you can see if there's leaks and everything like that, and you're limiting your risk. And instead of having to put $100,000 into a foreclosure property, you might overpay compared to a foreclosure property about $30,000. Even if it's $50,000 and you have to put in $30,000 worth of renovations compared to that $100,000 worth of renovation, you're still coming out ahead by $20,000. Just rough numbers. Those are hypothetical numbers, but that is something that you definitely need to consider if you're looking in the real estate market. And what I would do instead of looking for foreclosure properties, I would be targeting these other properties where we have some more motivated sellers, and there is a chance you might be able to get it a little bit lower and get it for the right price. I had a client, we were looking at a foreclosure property when you could also get a property around the corner for about $50,000 more, and everything was very similar to the property. Despite being a foreclosure, I mean, this property needed quite a bit of work, and it's not to assume that all foreclosure properties need quite a bit of work, but this one needed about 100 grand based on our estimations, about 100 grand. And the other property around the corner that was listed, it ended up selling for about $50,000 more than the other property. So at the end of the day, you would have spent about $50,000 more. And when we looked at the other property, the non-foreclosure property, it needed about $30,000 worth of work, right? So when you're looking at it, and at the time, I mean, $30,000 seems to go a long way, especially if you don't need to focus on a lot of the big ticket items like roof or the mechanical components that doesn't necessarily add value. So when we're looking at properties, my strategy is more to look, where are the value add opportunities, what you can get on it. Because if you need to go fixing and replacing all the roofs, the hot water tanks, the furnaces, those properties cost you an arm and a leg, and you're not really necessarily going to get the value out of it. Where you do get the value out of it is when you start to attack and go after the ones that already have a lot of that done. At the end of the day, it's your family's money, so we want to make sure you're protected there and find these value add properties with taking away a lot of the risk. If you go to the court ordered sale, you're going to take on a lot more risk because there's no disclosures made. There isn't a whole lot of liability that is left, and you are taking on as a buyer. Even if you're to get that, even if you're to get this down to 800 for an extra $30,000 more, I personally would take this one, more guaranteed, over this one, even for a $30,000 difference, because of the less risk on it. Because it was owner occupied, the seller does have some disclosures, does have some liability when they do sell the property, that they're representing the property into its truest light. When a bank or a court ordered sale is happening, they're often, you are buying it as is, where is, so you take on all that responsibility as the new buyer. So it's up to you if you want to take on that responsibility, or if you want to reduce it and save the money and put it in your pocket for you and your family. So it needed about $30,000 worth of lipstick on it. Really, it was a lot of paint, flooring. This one needed a little bit of countertops in the kitchen. And so what we did and what we were able to look into is you ended up running the numbers there, and it made a lot more sense there. All right, so if you do have any questions, comments, let me know in the comments, or reach out, give us a call, pick up that phone. It's Mark Kuntz here with Selling Kelowna Real Estate Group, and we'd love to help you find any of these properties here in the Okanagan.